Do you know what we'd like to see?
Go
Forget
on.
Oprah. Let's get the Queen and Meghan and Jeremy Kyle.
Jeremy Kyle. Goodness me. Don't think
Let
that's doing anymore, is
Jeremy
it?
Kyle sort it.
Good crikey.
Looking at our famous golden couple,
Yeah.
who I don't think it's a phrase that's the reverse of the Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to
Charcoal.
I don't know. It doesn't turn to gold though, does it? So we've got Harry and Meghan, and they are behaving as, I just think, is it spoilt children? Is it narcissistic children? What would the parents do? You've got 4 children yourself. As parents, what do we think that is the right reaction? The Queen's come back with this never complain, never explain, never complain, and now she's obviously opening up. What do we think from the parents' point of view?
It's an unbelievably complicated question. It's a very loaded question, that, isn't it? Because standing back and looking at parenting as a whole, it's probably a sweeping statement, but the most responsible job in the world. We are bringing forth a next generation of people that we want to support and grow and be, positive individuals in societies. And I've heard said many a time that parenting doesn't come with a rule book. The royal impact on parenting makes their job, I think, so much more complicated. But I watched a really interesting TED Talk by a guy called Simon Sinek. He does a lot of leadership stuff, but he identified, of which Harry and Meghan are, the sort of concept of millennials.
Yeah.
And he talks about it's really not their fault because, for a start, the parenting through the generation of millennials has created a cohort of kids, young adults, who are they have a feeling of entitlement.
Yes, I agree.
They're not happy that those parents have been the parents who have gone to school when their children hasn't got on a team and complained. So the child's then got on the team because the parents have complained. They've come through a generation where sports days, for instance, everybody's been a winner. It's not like when we were at sports day and you got first, second, or third. I'm sorry, you lost.
Yes. And they're picking the teams. Someone's standing there and you're the last one to be picked.
Yeah.
And it all meant something.
You asked me a question about parenting, and I've reflected on my parenting skills, and something that somebody said to me a long time ago that I think has stood Jason and I in so much good stead is children need to learn to self-soothe and self-solve. And it's a really simple formula to live your life by. So what does self-soothing look like as a baby? How many parents do that awful controlled crying, but it works. If you keep going back to your child when it's crying, it's going to get used to you soothing it. You have to learn to sort of calm yourself down. You can't rely on somebody else to do it. And it's the same with problems, the solving aspect of it.
I love that. And that for me, actually, I look at Harry, for example, and all the pictures and everything we see of Diana, she came across, I think, as a great mum, but she will have made mistakes because she's just human. She was still a woman and mother and everything else. She was human. But what we seem to gather from news reports is that William being firstborn was obviously destined, he's going to be king. Yeah. Harry being secondborn, he was allowed to have that element of freedom as a younger child. So it's almost like William at every event had to behave. He had to be guided and trained to be that perfect child because William one day going to be king. Harry, on the other hand, it was almost like, I think with Diana, you're allowed to be a bit of a naughty boy. You're allowed to do all these things. And I think Diana had this rebellious side. She had a naughty side, which I quite like. And didn't she once say to them, it's okay to be naughty as long as you don't get caught. And that was what she...
I know that.
That's what Diana said to her boys. So Harry, I believe, was also raised with this element of, it's not rebellious, it's element of wider boundaries, almost like he can go and do whatever he likes, because Diana was always there nurturing him, cuddling him, and almost smothering him, like you said, with this love and this support. It's okay, I am here, whatever you want you can have, without realizing that what actually has happened with Harry, he's been raised, and they talk about him now having this tantrum, don't they? He's been raised with this inability to self-soothe, as you say, and I love that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And expecting other people. And I think people that can't do that do a lot of blaming.
Yeah.
Because it's not their fault. So the responsibility doesn't stand with me, because, I've always been caught in my whole life. I've never had to catch myself. However, at what point do you look at your actions and consequences and say to yourself, hold on a minute, I'm the common denominator in this life, and I'm the one that makes the choices, and I'm the one that is responsible.
I mean, they do talk about Meghan being this, she's trying to be, Diana reincarnated. She's almost become this mother figure. They always say that Harry's, one of his biggest regrets, that he was unable to save his mum. And I don't mean he was unable to be at the Ritz Hotel that night and stop her getting in that car saver. I think I'm talking about the night that she must have sat with both her children and said, boys, this is my life, this is what it's like, and I don't want you to fall into this same trap. If you're in a marriage that you believe is to be loveless, in a household you believe to be cold, in a family and an institution or a firm, whatever, that you see or perceive as being dysfunctional. I think Diana really wanted to have the fairy tale. I believe she truly loved Charles, and she really believed in the happy ever after. That didn't happen. So she now has her children who become her world. So her world become her boys. The eldest one is almost been taken in hand by the father. So William's there being guided, and William's been given very clear, structured guidance, whereas Harry became Diana's comfort blanket. So Harry becomes her comfort blanket, and therefore she will have talked to him, she's spoken to him. And I do believe that on many occasions she will have said to him, if you can get out, Harry, get out. And he's been raised with that inner feeling and that inner belief, saying, Harry, I'm trapped. William has no option. He's in here. He can't get out, but you can. Diana's dream, maybe, we have been led to believe, was to go and live in the States. So she's saying to Harry, leave the country, leave the institution. Harry then meets a woman who actually enables him to open all these doors to the exit. She's almost like the prison officer with the keys.
It's so true, though. It's so true. And I suppose that's what you dream about, what you think about, you bring about, don't you? So, it's his ticket out, isn't it?
It's his ticket out.
And that's exactly what's played out in front of us. And but the wake that they've left behind them, they were perhaps naive about. And of course, you can't predict what anybody else is going to do. So they maybe assumed naively that they would be allowed to do whatever they were allowed to do, because they've been, like you say, he's been closeted for all of his life.
But isn't it this wake that you need to see? Because you talked earlier about consequence. And I think that is a huge part in any child development, is that learning what consequence is. If Harry's growing up in all his life, whenever he's kicked off in his early days, Diana or whoever has tried to calm him down with giving whatever his own way. Of course, you can go here. If there had been no severe repercussions for that, and they've almost gone, it's Harry. He actually doesn't understand that some of this behaviour is unacceptable.
All behaviour has positive intention, whether it's a child screaming in a supermarket for a sweet. Meghan is screaming for the sweet of attention, or politic success, or whatever it is. And therefore, we're adding fuel to the fire if we're giving her that attention. So I think if I were Queen, I would come back down to what I am as a person, what I stand for as a royal family, what we stand for strong, and I would crack on with that.
I love that. And I almost would like the Queen or Charles to turn round to Harry and Meghan and say, do you know what? Go and do it. Go and say, we will not be blackmailed. And I think that for me is the fear. We will not be blackmailed. And no matter what you say, we will not respond. I would like them to close down even more and say, just get on with it.
I totally agree.
We're going to live our lives.
Yeah.
We are a strong unit.
Yeah.
We've gone longer than you have.
Yeah.
We will not be blackmailed.
Yeah.
Rather than answering.
And on a human level, from human to a human, we wish you well. We wish you well, because that is fundamentally, that's the sort of allowing them to self-soothe and self-solve.
You started off this video and you said about life. And today's world, your child doesn't get into the school sports team and the parents go into school and complain.
Yeah.
That's Meghan. She is scared because if her child or her children don't make it, because obviously they want Archie to be given the title Prince, which is the most hypocritical, statement ever. They want him to be Prince, but yet they don't want anything to do with the royal family, because that's the title is what destroyed Harry in his mind, and yet they want to give it to his son. And I don't get that. Harry didn't want to be part of the royal family. He felt trapped. Just call me Harry. I want to drop the title Prince Harry. Just call me Harry. They have a son and they're going, why can't he be called Prince? The name that Harry couldn't wait to get rid of. And I believe that's Meghan, because that is the golden ticket for her children, and her children are the ones that she wants them, for all intents and purposes, in the school team. And if they're not, she's going into the school and complaining for her kids. So she's going back to the royal family and making demands for her kids, hence the names. If you're not going to give our son the title Prince, we're going to name our daughter the name of the Queen. As parents, and I'm looking at Charles and the Queen, parent and grandparent, looking at how they should deal with this and how to move forward. They never explain, never complain is a fantastic mantra.
Strategy,
and I like it.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people are going fantastic, they're retaliating, and part of me does think that is a great thing. There is a part of me that almost is saying you're feeding the narcissist with more oxygen. Yeah. You're actually giving them some fuel to enable them then to come back. And I think that whatever the royal family come back with, and whatever they say about the reality of what happened, Harry and Meghan are not a couple that will ever turn around ever and go, actually, yeah, maybe what we said wasn't quite correct. I think they will find another way to come back and either try and disprove that comment even further, or actually sidetrack and go to something, a different comment that tries to trump it also, as in do one better, not as in a Donald, and try and trump it. And
don't bring him into it.
But what and Meghan, I think, has proven this already so far, that she will always have that card she can play, and she has two aspects. She has the mental health card by claiming she was going to commit suicide. Yeah. The other one she had, of course, is the race card, which is a whole new topic. We're not going to get into that now, but it is such a sensitive area. And the royal family here that is their real difficult aspect as a parent, because no matter what they say and come back and try and, dispute from their side, what Meghan will always play is either of those two cards, and therefore they are in a very sticky situation. Whereas if they do almost say, we wish you all the best, just go do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Blackmail. That's the best way to deal with a blackmailer.
Ignore.
If you don't, so if I said, Heidi, if you don't pay me the money, I will show this picture that I took of you sunbathing naked on the beach.
It's not me. I wouldn't do that. Frighten everybody to death.
But what's the best way to stop me?
Ignore it. It's you want attention.
Post it. Post it. I mean, it's not going to kill me. I'm going to be mortified, but just post it.
Exactly.
There is no blackmail. There is no. There is nothing I can do. So absolutely. So and that's the thing about blackmailers. Just go and do it then. Just go and do it. I will tell them, if you don't do this, I'm going to tell them what you said. We'll just go and tell them and we'll deal with that. You don't give in to them. And so therefore, if Harry and Meghan have got an armory of information, of things, and apparently what I do find is quite concerning is apparently she was taking photographs around the palace, and she had a journal, a diary, and she was caught writing things down and photographs, obviously like behind the scenes, to one day maybe write a book about behind the scenes of the Buckingham Palace. And, if there are all these things, they almost need to say, do it. Because the more they try,
worst that can happen,
the more they try and say, look, please don't, what do we need to do to prevent that? The more power you are given to two people, that the power could be taken away by simply saying, go ahead, give it all you've got.
Yeah.
And then, but remember, when you've given all you've got, you have to deal with the repercussions yourself, which going back, they have no comprehension of the weight behind them, or this, the consequence.
Yeah. My feelings towards them is of concern. And I think listening to you talk it through as to how the royal should handle it is a much calmer approach, to know that they're not going to make it worse, or it's not going to become a battle.
Yeah.
It is the right thing to do.
Also, something else to consider here is the Queen's 95. So the Queen is almost living, we have to remember, at 95, her mindset and her parenting style is still the mindset and parenting style of somebody that the monarchy is with that same reign. The monarchy is still with that, in that era.
Yeah.
Charles, also at his age, is not that much further ahead.
Yeah.
When William steps in, he's going to reign with a very different mindset of parenting style, because they show the video of him running around with the kids, picking the kids up, throwing them around. Parenting styles differ. So it's not that the Queen has been a bad parent to Charles. The Queen was the parent to Charles that was in line with the era at the time. The fact that at that time, young women were not allowed to be in the presence of men without a chaperone.
Yeah. Quite remarkable, isn't it, that? Yeah, quite remarkable. And of course, all of that supports the values and beliefs that then you take into the rest of your life, and they dictate your thinking, don't they, and your actions and your behaviors.
Harry's not a hard done to child. Look at his world.
Oh my goodness me, he is so privileged.
And I believe he is comparing his style of parenthood with his eldest, age 2, to his grandmother's style of parenthood, age 95. Now, they are different eras. They are
totally wrong to compare.
And he's comparing two different worlds, two different generations. Well, 3 generations down, going back. So for Harry to turn around, and for Meghan to turn around and criticise things that happened, 70 years ago, is very, very naive, very sad.
Yeah.
And it can only backfire, because their view of what they believe, as we said at the start, what they believe that they're entitled to, or what they believe they should have now, is very, very naive, and therefore it will crumble down around them. I think there's so much more to come.
Which is great for us too.
Yeah. Oh, Heidi, I do love our chats. Once again, brilliant. Right, next week we have got Groinia joining us. Now, Groinia is, she contacted me from the last video that we did when I said about our great guest speakers, and she made contact. Her skill, forte, her little niche in the world is numbers, numerology. And actually this afternoon today, she's going to do mine, and she's got all my name, dates of birth, everything, my birth name, and she's going to do my numbers, but she's also going to do them for Harry and Meghan, and do almost like a profile about the two of them, their relationship from marriage, and we're going to go into that into full detail. So that is going to be, it might be the next one, or the next but one anyway. It's coming soon, so do stay watching.
Very exciting.
I know, I can't wait for that. I really can't wait. So I'm really excited. Heidi, once again, thank you so much. I think this really works. People love it. Yeah. If you do like this new style, just give us a comment and let us know and give us some support. And a big shout out to Heidi as well. We're going to continue doing this. We're going to try and get more videos out each week. Don't forget, if you are a woman out there and you're feeling a little bit like you're struggling to cope with the world, you're feeling that maybe your life is a little bit overwhelming and you don't have the confidence to, get out there and face the obstacles that are in front of you at the moment. If you're feeling a little bit less worthy and in fear that people are judging you or criticizing you, then don't forget that I have now got my waiting list, which I've got some amazing women. I've just sent another lady up who's going to be incredible. I love you all. For my 8-week Find Your Confidence course. You will work every week with me online on a one-to-one session, just like Heidi and I are talking here today. We are one-to-one every week. We are talking online and we go through the full program. It has so far transformed the lives of the women that I've been working with. They have had some incredible results. If you're interested, email me with the words, I want to find my confidence, to my email address, which is sue@sueblackhurst.com. And don't forget, of course, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe is a bizarre word because people think subscribe is like to a magazine or something like that. It's not. Pressing the red button to subscribe is simply saying thank you. It's saying thank you to Heidi and I for the input of our videos. If you then go and press the notification bell, what that does is tells you before anybody else when each video is out, so you don't get to miss them and you get to see them first. So thank you, everybody. Do take care. Don't forget as well, we also have a bit added on at the end of the video, so do stay tuned and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Brill. Well done. I need a wee.
Do you like my mug?
Yeah. Gorgeous.
I'll get you one with H on it.
Oh my God, you're bloody brilliant at marketing, you Mrs. Honestly.
I'll get you an H one.
Yeah, and I love the pink. I think the pink sense throughout everything that you've done is great. Look, I've got pink on.
I know. Do you want to know how many views?
Oh my God, go on.
Bear with me. Oh, 92,300.
Oh my God, that's incredible. Well done.
Well done. They love you.
Honestly, I cannot take any credit, Sue.
They love you. They love you. No, it's all love Heidi. Love Heidi. She's wonderful. She's amazing. Definitely, you two got to keep going with this. So really, really, really cool.